Good morning. Today is Monday. I think it's the September 15th. And I welcome you here. I'm here with Tara from TSW Life Coaching. She has a plethora of things that she does. She's very much about connecting to the soul, as I am. So we are here just to do a conversation on topics that have come up for us and what people are looking for. Before we get started, I want to mention that we are in Brooks, Alberta, together doing a
Yay.
soul revival experience at 6:30 on September 21st, which is the equinox, and it is going to be very powerful. We are going to connect to what your soul is requiring for healing and growth and expansion and all of the things. So, welcome, Tara.
Hello, how are you? Sorry, I'm looking at my window. I have birds just going crazy out there this morning.
Oh, maybe there's going to be lots of people. That's a sign.
Maybe because they're just like this whole, I was gonna say herd, that's all right, flock of birds just went like whoosh
Yeah.
right in front of my window. So I was like, oh, please don't hit. Um, yeah. Speaking of which, we were talking the other day and we had blue jays show up.
Mm.
I looked it up and
Yep.
it was communication and collaboration, which I thought was beautiful.
Oh, that's cool because I was talking. Was that you I was talking with? That the Blue Jay was, yeah, okay. There
Yeah.
you go. Like there's someone else. Okay. See, I remember stuff, but I don't remember everything.
That's okay.
So yeah,
So I know we had a topic picked for today, not that we always stay on topic anyhow.
that's right. Yeah. So today we're talking about being humble and vulnerability and being vulnerable and what that means as
Mm.
being vulnerable and humble. And yeah. So I'd love to go. You can start. You like,
Those are big words. They're definitely big words. Um, I feel like I want to go to vulnerability first. So vulnerability is one I think so many, and I think it's cultural conditioning that everyone shies away from. They're like, I don't want to be vulnerable. I don't want to be vulnerable. And vulnerability is to me just open and being and it's not oversharing or it's not sharing things that you're not comfortable with. It's just to me what I understand vulnerability to be is just being open to the interactions at a level that's comfortable for both, because that's the other part is too is that people can be over vulnerable because they're trying to be vulnerable. And so they're like, here, blah, blah, blah. And they tell you things, and you're like, whoa, that was like a little bit, you know, too much for having just met you. Like I don't need to know your whole life story and everything, that kind of thing,
yeah,
unless I'm doing a healing session because that's what that's about.
yeah,
But, like just someone walking up to you and being like, bleh, all over you can be like, a way to try that they're trying to connect, but it's yeah, uncomfortable.
yeah, yeah. And for me, like vulnerability is being able to be open, but it's like I'm going to be open for the constructive criticism for me to grow, to learn, not to feel like I'm being attacked. Um, and it's like being open, being vulnerable to spirit. It's like, okay, I'm on my knees now. Please just tell me what I need to know so I can get out of this, what feels like the worst part of my life or whatever, right? Being vulnerable to seeing the path. um but you have to be open to seeing the path, right? Yeah,
And I think the way I love the way you describe that, and I think what that really brings up is just surrendering that ego that wants to control and just being, like I said, kind of open, but in a surrendered place of, okay, I don't know it all. You do. I'm here. Guide me. I surrender. I trust you. Um, which can also feel very vulnerable too. Is like trusting.
yeah. And surrendering to, if, say, for instance, you're trying to succeed at something and you've been trying and trying and it's not working, but, being vulnerable and to surrender to, oh well, this is, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. If it works, it works, right? And we are so controlled to have everything figured out to manifest. Well, I don't feel we need to be always, we have to be more in flow and surrender to hear exactly what the path is rather than from a space where we've been told, well, first step, you go to school, second step, you find the right. We've been taught so many ways, but
Yeah,
we surrender to just what is and listening and being in flow. That's where the magic is. That I have
absolutely.
found personally how it has flowed in my life for things to come into like to come in, right? Rather than chase.
Yeah, I completely agree. And there was something that you said in that. It was, yeah,
Conditioning.
sorry, go ahead.
Probably something with conditioning.
Yeah, it was definitely that. Uh, I know, but we are so deeply conditioned to try and control. Like you said, to try and have it figured out, to try and, um, like I write in quite a few collaboration booklets and things like that. And I know we have meetings and we talk with each other and we talk with other people. And, there's so many people that want to write and they're like, but I don't know. Like, I have to sit and, I have to figure out the story first, or the outline, or whatever. And I mean, I know not everyone can do it. Well, everyone can do it if they choose to. But like for me, I don't even open it up. Like to my logical mind, it's just completely with spirit. And then, like I said, there's a couple days before where sentences will start coming together. And then I just sit and I write. And most times my chapters are done within an hour, because it just flows. But again, there's so many people who go, I want to write, but I need the title, or I need the word, or I need the outline, or I need this. And
Yeah.
that's trying to control, and they're not being that open, they're not being vulnerable, they're not surrendering. They're in that doing rather than being state. And so they're just, trying to figure it out, which I've done that too, where I'm like, okay, the deadline will be getting close. I'm like, okay, I'm going to sit and write today. And then I'll get a sentence done and I'll keep deleting it and writing it again another way. And then it's like, no, this is not working for me.
Yeah.
So I walk away from it again.
Yeah. Well, and think about when, well, the way I was taught to write in school, you picked your title, you picked your topic, then you picked your opening sentence to your paragraph, and or to the whole story or whatever, and that's how we've been taught.
Yeah.
So it's hard to break out of that and just be in where you're channeling. When I did my Oracle deck, how I did it. That's how I write all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I get words and then they start to form a sentence and then they start to, then you have to shift things and move things where it feels right and you get more information. And that's how I write. But I'm not a writer though, like you.
Yet.
Yes.
um, but you're so right. We're so conditioned that way. And it feels very vulnerable to let that control go. It feels very, yeah, vulnerable to just let that control go and to go into surrender.
Yeah.
That has been the hardest thing on my journey, is surrendering.
I think it is the hardest for most everyone. Surrender and trust. Like it really,
Yep.
we can say we're trusting that things are going to happen, but in the back of our mind, we're going, well, I'm waiting and it's not happening. And what's going on? And how come not yet? And so is that surrender? No.
No, it's definitely levels, because there's
Yeah.
definitely levels of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it, that's always, if there's another kind of, okay, well, how can I make this happen? Nope, that's not surrendering. Or, if you're trying to figure it out, nope, not surrendered.
Yeah.
And I know I've had that conversation with the universe many times where I'm like, I can't surrender anymore. And it's like, oh, yes, you can. And it's like, yes, I can.
Yeah.
And so then it's like, okay, another level,
Yeah.
surrender, let it go,
Yeah.
and go back with that flow. But like you said, it's so, when you are in flow, it's such an amazing feeling and things just flow. It's just, yeah, it's just beautiful.
Yeah, it sure is. It's awesome. It is awesome to be, and it's hard to be vulnerable. It really, truly, truly is hard. Um, but once it's like fear is hard. Once you do that big step, that one big, humongous leap in your life, after a while you look at fear totally different because you made it through, right?
Hmm.
So now if you be vulnerable, it's like and surrendering to what the outcome needs to be, not the control of it, then the next time it's like, oh, you know what? I'm just going to be vulnerable here and allow things to either hit me or not, be successful or not, be whatever, right? It's like if you were in a relationship that did not work out, whether, for whatever reason, um, and then we have a hard time being vulnerable to open ourselves up again to a new relationship, then all of a sudden you realize, hey, I am just putting up a wall, nothing's coming in, and you shift to be vulnerable again, and you be vulnerable until it's not working, and then you shift, right?
Hmm.
However that works for you in a relationship, right? But
Um, there was something else I was going to say with that. The vulnerability too is we have always been taught, and that's a word that weighs heavy because in our society that comes across as weak. And so when
yeah,
you face that and you're like in spirituality, they start, saying be vulnerable and things like that. There's an automatic repulsion to it because in society that's taught as weak. And so we naturally go, I don't want to be weak.
I wrote down the definition of vulnerable:
Okay.
susceptible to physical or emotional attack or harm, easily hurt. Like, that is scary.
Yeah, no kidding. Please hurt me, like attack me.
Yeah,
It
and
is,
it
and that's totally not what it means.
exactly, exactly. So it's interesting how we can read into things of how what words mean rather than feeling into them or, really trusting in that process of what it means for you, right?
Yeah.
So,
Well, and I think too, and not that I want to get into big conspiracy things, but this is kind of what the road that I went down with humble, because that's definitely like a spiritual term to be humble. But then you read the definition of humble and it's to lower yourself. And I'm like,
yeah,
that's not, no. Like, I don't want to lower myself. I've worked so hard to stand in my power, to be who I am. So I don't want to lower myself. And then I saw someone that was talking about, I can't think of the word now. But anyway, he said he looked back at what the Greek word was for it. And so I realized that what humble meant before our society took it over, is humble actually means grounded. And I was like, I get that. Like that
yep,
resonates with me. That means that is being humble. It's not lowering myself. It's not talking about my strengths. It's not owning my strengths. It's about being grounded in having my strength.
yeah,
And I'm like, that completely fits. So I'm curious now. I'll have to look vulnerability up
yeah.
on what the Greek is, or
Okay,
Latin. I think it was Latin. Anyway,
okay. I'll if
one of the ancient languages.
yeah, I will in a sec if it
Oh,
permits
I just
me to do
meant,
that. But like for me, when I looked up the meaning of humble in today's day,
yeah,
it is having or showing a modest or low self-esteem of one's own purpose. To me, being humble in this definition, to me,
yeah,
is being humble is give up all your power and make yourself less than and just allow, things to just be taken away from you. That's how I feel. And when you say grounded, it tells me what came in for me is when I'm humble, I am letting go of my ego. I am just being present. I am being what I am, not more than, not less than. I am just being in what I need to be, um,
absolutely.
and which is grounded.
Yeah, I know. Isn't that, doesn't that just feel better?
Oh,
to
way
say,
better. Yeah.
I know, because that was my huge struggle with, and that's why I went down that rabbit hole was
Yeah.
how, because that's the spiritual teachings is humility and be humble. And I was like, I get that. I get what it feels like you said with
Yeah.
vulnerability, but it was like, I've worked really hard to recognize that I'm a divine being and to own that and to step into that and step into my power and my
Yeah.
gifts and all of that. Why would I want to lower myself now?
Yeah.
But then when I read Grounded, I was like, oh, that totally makes sense.
Yeah. Well, and you hear like, why don't you be more humble? Like lower your standards. That's how I take that. It is,
Yeah.
you think about how we were raised and stuff. You need to be more humble. Okay, well, I'll make myself less than and I'll give away all my power. That's what it feels like to me.
Oh, absolutely.
I would love to hear what the viewers have to say on their version and how they feel and if any of this resonates because I mean we have a conversation between us and it's just what how we interpret life and our
Yeah.
experiences because we all experience life differently and everything means different to different people. No right or no wrong. It's just how we
Hmm.
feel. So
How it resonates with you and how it feels within you, which is another thing, um, is discernment. That's where we need discernment. And discernment isn't judging. It's just if it doesn't resonate with you, it doesn't resonate.
yeah.
And that doesn't mean it's right, wrong, or anything. It just means that it's not for you.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And yeah, and that's what's most important is the discernment, 100%. Um, because the way you see life, you have your experiences, you have your stuff, good, the shadows, the light, all of it. I have mine, and I may see things totally different.
Hmm.
Um, but I am a person who I am open to listening to other people's um, experiences there, because I see it how I see it, because it's my truth or my belief. My belief could be something that was put upon me. Um, and sometimes we need to shift those beliefs if
Hmm.
if it's calling in that right way to
Yeah.
shift that, to change it, right?
Well, and I do believe system changes people because it's absolutely what your truth
Yeah,
is. And so we shift it to whatever you want it to be rather than what you, like you said, it's been conditioned in us
yeah,
and programmed into us. But like the words vulnerable and humble have been culturally stolen, I guess, from what they truly are
yeah,
or what they mean or feel like.
yeah,
And they're kind of like bad words now. Like it's like they're not good, they're not standing in your power, they're not
yeah,
empowering, they're about weakening. And I mean there's theories around that on why that's conditioned into us, but then you start really looking at it and it's like a lot of our language is, because words are power, right? Words have power. And it's, like they say spelling, that's why it's called that, because it's actually spell as in magical. So you set the tone with your words and things like that. So if you are not aware of the words that you're using or you're tied into maybe the cultural understanding of them, then you would be going against that programming. Like when you try to step in your vulnerability, it's like, no. Or you try to be humble and it's like I was like, I don't want to lower myself. Like I've worked this hard to not be that. And so yeah, it's about that conditioning and recognizing that is conditioning.
yeah, 100%. And I think much of what we go through life, as humans, so many struggle. We all have struggles in some aspect throughout our whole life. But we need to uncondition. It's because we've been conditioned. That's why we struggle. We are born to have joy, happiness. You look at a child, there's nothing but happy. And I get life. You grow up, you have to have a career, you have to, all of the things. I get it. But our purpose here is to find joy. And if we are conditioned to do things, it's against our soul. It's against everything that brings us joy in some cases, right? Not
Hmm.
every case because it's people are happy. But if we are so unhappy, where are we conditioned to be or do or, be in a place where we're not finding our joy and our happiness in our soul? And I mean, I think that's why we connect so well. We're trying to help people go to those deep places in their soul to listen, to find that joy.
Hmm. I so agree. And I think we said on one of our other episodes, I feel like happiness is what we've been taught, and joy is our true soul. And I love that you brought up kids because yeah, they are joy. They are pure joy. And no, that doesn't mean they're happy all the time, but they're joy. They're like their soul is joy, and that's what we all are. That's our divine nature. That's who we are till we've been conditioned out of us. And saying the word happy, we've been conditioned to look for happiness without outside of ourselves. Like, I mean, that's the whole marketing industry right there. Buy this car, it'll make you happy. Buy this, whatever, it'll make you happy. Buy this toilet brush, it'll make you happy. Like, it's like, and we so have been conditioned that happiness is outside of us, where
Yeah.
our true joy is from our soul.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, very much. And I feel like going back to the child, you think about when a child, they have no fear, basically. Well, some kids do. I shouldn't say they don't, but um, putting them in a situation and the parent is scared and they go, oh, what if you fall and break your leg? Right? Well,
Hmm.
they're not thinking about that. I mean, I'm not saying to tell your kid to jump off something and they break their leg.
Yeah.
That's not what I'm saying. But they have that inner space that there's no fear, so they can conquer, so they can win, so they can be, the best that they can be. And then we instill, be careful. What if it doesn't work? Right? So then we grow up and we get to a space where we're like, oh, I want to start my own business. Be careful. What if it doesn't work?
Yeah.
We have that fear instilled in us where when your soul is calling for it to happen and then our ego and our fear and our conditioning comes in, we stop and,
Hmm.
and we can't find our joy because our joy is doing that thing. And in most cases anyway, not every
Yeah.
case. Yeah.
Oh, I would. Yeah. And that's the same thing. Like when you look at kids again too, like the words vulnerable and humble and everything, like they are vulnerable. Like they will, stand in front of a crowd. I just remember, and it's so the girly thing to do when I was a kid. Standing in front of the mirror and thinking I was the best singer ever. Probably was not.
We
But
all
is that
did.
a? I know, right? But is that a bad thing? Because why would why would you lower yourself and be like, well, I'm crap, I'm not even going to sing anymore? Why would you not just sing to your best ability and just be okay with that?
Yeah.
And that vulnerability and that just allowing it to be and feeling like you're that great divine being because you are that.
Yeah. What if someone doesn't like me for this?
What if they pick on me? What if they judge me? What if they all of that what ifs stops us from doing that? And you may not be the greatest singer, but that doesn't matter. If it's bringing you joy to belt it at the top of your lungs, give her. Why not?
Yeah.
And as soon as you let go of that conditioning, then you can be open up to that more and like you said, tap into that joy more. Do you have to be the best singer? No. Do
Yeah.
you have to be having fun with doing it? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. Very much so. So yeah, it's interesting to pull words that are, I would love to see if anybody else has any others that really have changed through society in what we believe and feel.
Hmm.
That
I
would
think
be,
another deeply conditioned one is we've talked about is work. And I know I face that one too when we talk about work because we're conditioned in our society that work is supposed to be hard. Work is supposed to be not fun. You're supposed to work until you can retire and all of that. And so it puts all that burden on us. And I know I've come across that because I love what I do. I love the work that I do. And there's comes a time where you have to go, am I supposed to be doing this? Because this is just too much fun. Like maybe this is a hobby and it's like this isn't supposed to be work. And it's like we have that condition that it's supposed to be a struggle and hard and everything else. And it's not.
Yeah. I feel, well, I mean, money is, that's aside from that, all of the stuff with work, but
Mm-hmm.
work, we like, yeah, we've been taught, you have to work hard to get ahead. You have to, all the masculine side, right? We've been taught so deeply about the masculine and not listening to our intuition, the feminine side and all of that. But it's like, um, where was I going? I lost my train of thought. Oh my goodness.
About work.
Um, yeah, and it's like if you're not doing what your passion is, if you don't get up every morning and love going and driving to your job, if that's where you're going, um, time is wasted for having love and passion and joy and that joy in your life, right? Yes, there's aspects of everything we do that we don't like. 100%. It's part of the puzzle, part of the piece of following our passions. Like there's some things I don't like to do in my job, but I know I have to do it, so I do it. But following that deep passion and like for me, it's being in service and
Mm-hmm.
allowing people to see that joy within their soul and how to reach it and how to get there and how to, see their light and all of the things that were kind of taken away from them as they grew up. Um, I mean, I'm the same as you. Like, is this really work? Because, isn't it great to be able to sustain yourself in a space where you are just doing something that you love?
I was gonna say, can you see, like, with what you're saying and everything and what we are just talking about, why there are so many, why our world is where it is? Because it's that wounded masculine.
Yeah.
It's that, and that's why so many people are unhappy, um, because they're constantly searching for the happiness outside of them. They're constantly doing the things, doing the checklist things like that they're supposed to, but
Yeah.
they're not feeling fulfilled.
Yeah.
And that's hugely different. And that's because it's been that belief and what we've been conditioned to believe that we're supposed to do that brings us that unhappiness and that lack of fulfillment because we are not following that intuition. We're not following what we're being guided to do. We're following what we've been conditioned to do.
That's right. And how we define ourselves. Do we define ourselves by a label? I'm a CEO. I am a teacher. I am a, and whatever, right? I am just putting that out there. I'm a lawyer. We define ourselves by that. But is that who you are? Is that all you are? I'm a mom. I'm a friend. I'm a, someone that serves people. I am a person who I love myself now, finally.
Yeah.
All of the things. Who are you? Rather than, who are you? Like we ask kids at 18, 17, what are you going to be? Well,
We
it's
ask
a label.
kids, like little kids, that what do you
Yeah,
want to be when you grow
it's
up?
a label, right? How
Mm-hmm.
about I want to be someone that serves? How about I want to be someone that just enjoys life,
Exactly.
doing things that I enjoy doing, being creative, being an artist, whatever, right? And then that you have stigmas on different things in society, like, oh, you're an artist, oh, you must be starving.
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh,
that's what we label.
absolutely.
And it does not necessarily have to be that way. How about, oh, you're an artist instead of saying you're starving? How about, wow, how fulfilling is that to be able to create from your heart?
Yeah. And your soul to
We don't
speak.
we don't label that the same.
No. And have you ever tried that when someone asks, what do you do?
No.
Oh, you should see their face. Like if someone asks me that sometimes I will. I don't always remember, but it's like, what do you do? And I'll go, I live in joy. And they're
Oh,
like,
there you go.
Yeah, exactly. Like the deer in the headlights. What the hell is that? And then they just kind of ignore it. Because lots of people don't really want to listen anyhow.
Yeah,
But yeah, we're just conditioned to say, like, what do I do? Or, I know people ask me, like, what are you doing today? I'm like, I don't know. Whatever I'm guided. I'm in flow today. So whatever comes up.
yeah,
And people don't like that. It irritates them
yeah.
because they
And
want that concrete.
yeah, I'm part of the suite, and there was some questions with all of the experts, and someone asked, "What do you do to prepare and plan for your week?" And so they asked everyone, all of us, and
Yeah.
I'm like, "Well, I work around the appointments that I have, like with clients, and other than that, I am in flow with how I need to post my posts, when I need to post my posts. I am that person. If I'm in a mood where I can't share right now because my energy is not where I feel that I'm going to reach the people for what I'm feeling or what the post is about, I'm not, it's not going to get to where I want it to go. So for me, it feels like it's a wasted time of energy because it's not the energy I want to have in it. I want to have a post that has joy and happiness if that's what it's about, right? I need to
Yeah.
be in that. I feel I need to be sitting in that energy myself in order to attract that energy. That's how I feel.
I totally agree. And I think that's going right back to what we were saying about being vulnerable and being open, is just being in that flow and allowing yourself to be what you are in that moment,
Yeah.
and not doing it because you've been conditioned to do it.
Yeah.
And that can be hugely scary, especially to our egos that want to control, that feel like we always need to be doing the right thing.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's levels and levels and levels of that. And the more you let go, the more beautiful it feels. But letting go can definitely feel a little bit tough.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
watching my language today. I don't know why.
Well, it's like you said, the words are important in how you say them. 100%.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, and it's like I don't always do everything the way everyone else does. We kind of had a conversation earlier about algorithms and stuff like that. I won't change how I do things to hit an algorithm the way the app wants me to. Yes, it might take me longer to get there, but I know that I have um, the people that are it's hitting is the people that really need it or are ready for me and I'm ready for them. The whole thing.
Hmm.
It's part of being in flow and surrendering to, and being vulnerable to how it's supposed to happen.
And
Not
trusting.
and trusting, exactly.
Yeah. I'm the same way too. And I've so many people reach out to me like marketing. I can make you 3,000 a month or 3,000 a day or whatever. Um, and I've started responding with, I have the best marketing ever. The universe is on my side.
Oh,
And
good
then
for
they're
you.
like, yeah, some get it, some don't. And they're like, oh, okay, let me know. And I'm like, yeah, yeah. But it's like, that is ultimately who is in control. The universe is.
Yeah,
And the universe is going to bring me who I need, when I need, and when they need.
yeah.
Like when the universe knows that I'm here for service, and I will be in service when I need to be.
It's all
And
organic. Yeah,
yeah, and so the more I can let that go, the easier it feels.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't respond to those. I get probably 10 a day.
Yeah.
I alchemize that energy and going, ooh, I'm going to have 15 more followers or 100 more followers. This is like I just alchemize and change that energy because that person is bringing the attention to me. And I'm like, oh,
Mm.
okay. I'm not going to pay you, but the universe is going to pay me by giving me X amount of followers or customers or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Client. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Different ways of dealing with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's because, yeah, I was getting tons too. And it just gets annoying especially when they have the same kind of speech. And it's like, oh, I really like how you posted about fill in the blank. And then you're
Yeah.
like, okay.
They don't even get your name right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I care
And
about
you're like,
you.
I know. I really like your message on blank. And it's
Yeah,
like, okay. Yeah. So, yeah, that's how I started responding just because I thought it was funny.
yeah, absolutely.
It brings me joy.
Yeah, there you go. Awesome. I think that's what we have for today. Are you getting anything more or
No, I think it's really cool though if people want to share words that they've kind of come to understand or feel, because I think that's really important. And you said that earlier, is lots of times we feel them rather than, but when we feel them in our unconditioned, like in our soul, what the word means, and there's kind of a discord. So I think I'm finding it really interesting,
Yep,
words lately and the words that we use and how they have power.
they do. They do. Yeah,
And so yeah, anyone want to share any that they've had that kind of awareness around? I just think it's fascinating.
yep, for sure. Love it. Okay, well, Tara and I again, I'll say it again and I'll put a link below in the description. We are in Brooks, Alberta, um, September 21st at 6:30 p.m. We're at a market there during the day. You can sign up that day or pre-book. I'll have a link for you to pre-book if you want to pre-book your tickets, just so we can accommodate all that is there. And it is going to be a profound experience. I'm feeling that there's something big for someone that's going to be attending, that is really good. And if you are wanting your own experience, your own revival, we do this ourselves as well. I'll put a link and you can book in whenever you want, and we give you a recording. We tap into what your soul is really trying to say, because sometimes we have a hard time hearing what we need to hear. It's like, what do I need to know? And I'm not hearing it. So sometimes we need a little bit of help with that. So her and I, we do that together. We pull in what's going on, your energy, and we bring in the essences. Tara brings in the essences.
You
And
do too. You energy
yeah,
boost too.
we do it together. But we've had some really profound, ooh, life altering um, sessions with people
Hmm.
that has really changed their trajectory. Did I say that right?
Yeah, you did.
I'm having a hard time speaking today. Yeah, and it is so amazing when we can really connect deep to our core.
Hmm.
So anyway, I think I said enough about that.
And
So
they're just fun.
yeah, they are. They are. They are very, yeah, they are fun. You bet. And it's mind blowing every time we do it. We're just like, where does this come from? But
Yep.
you know where it comes from. But it's pretty cool to channel all of that, but
Hmm.
together. So thank you for being here. Thank you, Tara, again. And if
Thank
you
you.
guys want guests like we did last week, we had Marliana Eliseman on. Um, if you guys, if there's anybody that would like to come on, or if you feel that that's something we could kind of bring in every once in a while, we'd love to hear feedback. It's awesome. So
For sure.
awesome.
Have
Thank
a lovely week. And we will see you on Sunday.
you. Yeah. Yeah, Sunday. Okay. Talk to you later. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.